So the next two kits are the English Ivy kit and the White Heather kit. So I thought I'd do these together because they come in the same pot. Their care is quite similar, there is one small difference. So yeah, just thought I'd put them up together for you and show you how to do it. Okay, so let's start with the White Heather kit. So in your kit you'll receive this gorgeous white heather plant, your moss and your gravel and your compost and your gorgeous 12cm terracotta pot and matching saucer with this beautiful detail. These are one of my favourite pots. Again, a really good size, much like the 10cm castle scalloped pot I was talking about in the previous tutorial. Yeah, just a really, really good size. Looks lovely on a shelf with no plant in it as well. So really good for your interior stylings. So let's get potting up. So in both, we add in the gravel to the bottom of your pot once it's sat on the saucer. And now this is for drainage, so that their root system isn't sat in water for prolonged periods of time. And then add in a handful, I'd say, of compost. A small handful, I would say. Okay. And then after watering your plants, you can take them out. Oh, I want that one in there because I've got less compost in there. I'm actually going to take some of that compost out because I put too much in. So for the ivy, a handful. For the heather, a sprinkling. And that sits better. Okay, and then gently push that plant, push the compost gently down. Okay, and then for the ivy, the same thing. Now with the ivy, you'll need more compost around it. So just push it down slightly and then add in, do you know what? Add in, although I still make a mess. I can't help it. It's like a genetic issue. And then add in the compost on top around the plant. Okay. There we go. And now we can add in the moss. So just quickly though, with the ivy, no, not the ivy, with the heather, I didn't actually add any compost on top. Because really there's not a lot of space. If you wanted to, let's do it. Let's put some in, just a sprinkling, because it is worth, if there is space, popping in some new fresh compost on the top, just so that it benefits from a sort of a new lease of life of the nutrients that are in the fresh, brand new compost. Okay, so just as, you know, just a sprinkling on top. It doesn't need a lot, there's not loads of space once it's in. And it does also have a little bit of the compost at the bottom. Okay, so now adding in the moss, so you'll have your flat moss, which is this kind of woodland sort of feel. And it's got obviously the moss and then the twigs and sometimes pine cones in it. And then you have the bun moss, which is this, which is a kind of denser, thicker moss. With the bun moss, you can take the root system off the back, and I'll show you how to do that now. So you can break it up and then simply take that root system off the back, and then it will sit slightly better on top of your compost. Now the purpose of the moss is, you know, aesthetics. It does finish the potting off really beautifully, but it also keeps the moisture in the compost. Now in terms of looking after, let's start with the heather. So the white heather, they like to be kept damp. They do not like to dry out. So don't allow your heather to dry out. Keep it damp at all times. Keep it somewhere in direct sun. Doesn't need to be in full sun. It's a really easy plant to look after indoors. So yeah, just keep it damp, don't allow it to dry out. Then with the ivy, again, pop it somewhere in direct sun, so not too sunny, but not nowhere sort of really dark. So you know, most homes in the UK will be absolutely fine. But with the ivy, you allow it to dry out for in the top sort of centimetre to 2 centimetres of soil. So you do the finger test, which is you put your finger into the compost, and if it's dry in the sort of the top section, give it a water. If it's still damp, leave it alone. So it likes to kind of dry out just at the top, and then you re-water. And that's about it. They're really easy to look after. The main thing about ivy though is if you have cats or dogs, they're not good for them. They are a poisonous plant, but if you don't, they are a beautiful plant to have in the home. I know some people that have ivy with cats and the cats aren't bothered by them. They have them on a shelf so that it trails, and the animals, you know, leave it alone. But obviously it's just important for me to mention that ivy is poisonous to pets and obviously humans, but that's a given, isn't it? So there you have it. So you have your English ivy kit and your white heather kit.